Welcome back to the channel. Today, we bring you an empowering journey into leadership and personal growth. You're listening to The Focused Leader, Mastering the Art of Clarity and Purpose, a guide designed to sharpen your focus, unlock your inner clarity, and help you lead with intention in every area of life. Whether you're a seasoned leader or someone striving to make better decisions and build meaningful impact, this book will take you step by step through practical insights, real-world strategies, and mindset shifts that lead to purposeful action. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an audiobook upload. Let's dive in and transform the way you think, lead, and live. Chapter 1. Defining Focused Leadership. What it means to lead with focus. Leadership in today's world is not just about vision, influence, or strategy. It's about clarity in the midst of complexity and purpose amid distraction. The focused leader is not simply someone who sets goals. They are a steward of intention, energy, and impact. To lead with focus means to consistently align your attention, actions, and decisions with what matters most. In a world where attention is fragmented, distractions are endless, and speed is often mistaken for progress, the focused leader stands apart. They don't just move fast, they move with precision. They don't chase every opportunity, they commit to the few that matter. And they don't react to noise, they respond to what truly matters. But what is focus in leadership, really? It's more than mental concentration or time management. It's a strategic and emotional discipline. Focused leadership means being grounded in a clear purpose, having a vision that serves as a guiding star, filtering noise and distractions ruthlessly, saying no to the good in service of the great, leading others with clarity, consistency, and direction. Focus does not mean rigidity. It does not imply a closed mind or lack of adaptability. In fact, focused leaders are often the most adaptable because they know the difference between pivoting strategically and wandering aimlessly. Their adaptability is purposeful, not reactive. The successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. Bruce Lee. Take the example of Steve Jobs. Upon returning to Apple in 1997, he found a company scattered in all directions. There were dozens of product lines, none gaining traction. His first major act as CEO was to reduce Apple's product line by 70%. He canceled projects, cut departments, and told teams to focus. Jobs famously said, "Deciding what not to do is as important as deciding what to do." The result? Within a few years, Apple launched the iMac, iPod, and eventually the iPhone, revolutionizing 3 industries and turning Apple into the most valuable company in the world. Jobs was not just a visionary, he was ruthlessly focused. The 3 pillars of focused leadership. 1. Clarity of purpose. Every focused leader begins with purpose. They know their why and use it to guide their decisions. Purpose fuels consistency, sharpens priorities, and ignites commitment. Leaders with a clear purpose are more resilient, more engaging, and more credible. 2. Disciplined execution. Focused leaders don't just dream big, they act small. They understand the value of execution. They filter tasks, streamline decisions, and resist the temptation to overextend. Their calendars reflect their values. 3. Influence with intention. Focused leaders are intentional about how they lead others. They communicate clearly, inspire direction, and create cultures where others can thrive. They don't confuse busyness with effectiveness. They ensure that teams know not just what to do, but why it matters. Common myths about leadership success. To truly embrace focused leadership, we must challenge the cultural myths that derail leaders from clarity and purpose. These myths are deeply embedded in business culture, leadership development programs, and even in our personal definitions of success. Myth 1. Great leaders do it all. One of the most toxic myths in leadership is that to be successful, you must be everything to everyone. The superhero leader who has a hand in every decision, shows up at every meeting, and answers every email instantly may appear impressive, but they are often exhausted, scattered, and reactive. The focused leader knows better. They delegate effectively, empower others, and spend time only on the few activities that create disproportionate value. They don't try to do it all. They do what matters most. Case in point, Jeff Bezos famously instituted a rule at Apple: any meeting should be small enough to be fed with 2 pizzas. Why? Because focus is lost when too many people are involved. He also believed leaders should make only a few high-quality decisions a day, not hundreds. Myth 2. Speed equals progress. In our fast-paced world, moving quickly is often mistaken for progress, but speed without direction is chaos. Leaders who equate urgency with effectiveness often burn out their teams, lose sight of strategic goals, and make poor decisions. Focused leadership is not about moving fast, it's about moving deliberately. It's not about how much you can cram into your day, but how aligned your actions are with your purpose. Consider Jacinda Ardern, former Prime Minister of New Zealand. She was praised globally not for her rapid-fire responses, but for her calm, focused leadership, especially during crises like the COVID-19 pandemic and the Christchurch shootings. Her responses were measured, intentional, and rooted in values. Myth 3. Saying yes builds influence. Many leaders are taught to be agreeable, to say yes to gain favor, build consensus, or appear collaborative, but overcommitment is the enemy of focus. When leaders say yes to everything, they dilute their impact and exhaust their credibility. Focused leaders say no often, and with grace. They protect their time, energy, and priorities. Saying no is not rejection, it's refinement. As author Greg McKeown puts it in Essentialism, if you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Myth 4. Leadership is about control. Another harmful belief is that great leaders must be in control of every outcome, but control is an illusion. The more leaders micromanage, the less agile and innovative their teams become. Focused leaders don't control, they influence. They create environments where others can focus too. They build trust, set direction, and then step back to let others execute. This is not abdication, it's empowerment. Myth 5. Multitasking is a strength. Multitasking is often worn like a badge of honor, but neuroscience is clear. Multitasking reduces productivity, increases errors, and drains cognitive energy. Leaders who constantly switch between tasks have scattered minds and scattered teams. Focused leaders single task, they time block, they give people their full attention. They treat focus like a precious resource, not something to be squandered. Why focus matters more than ever. In the past, leaders operated in more stable, predictable environments. Focus was valuable, but not critical. Today, the opposite is true. We lead in times of information overload. Leaders are bombarded by emails, meetings, updates, decisions, metrics, and more. Without focus, they drown in data. Rapid change. Industries are disrupted overnight. Leaders must constantly reassess priorities. Only focused leaders can pivot without losing direction. Emotional burnout. Mental and emotional health are under siege. Leaders who lack clarity and purpose suffer, and so do their teams. Hybrid and remote work. Communication is harder, alignment is more difficult, and distractions are everywhere. Focus is the new leadership currency. Leaders who lack focus aren't bad people, they're overwhelmed people. But overwhelm is a signal, not a status quo. It's a message that it's time to simplify, realign, and return to what matters. The high cost of unfocused leadership. To understand the power of focused leadership, we must also acknowledge the cost of its absence. Unfocused leaders chase too many initiatives and finish few, burn out their teams with unclear priorities, frustrate stakeholders with inconsistent direction, react instead of respond, constantly firefighting, miss opportunities because they're scattered across distractions. A study by McKinsey found that executives spend nearly 28% of their time on activities that do not contribute meaningfully to company performance. That's more than one full workday per week lost to distraction. Imagine the results if that time were reclaimed with focus. Becoming a focused leader, a commitment to mastery. Focused leadership is not a trait, it's a skill. And like all skills, it requires intentional practice. It starts with awareness, then deepens through habit. In this book, we'll explore how you can clarify your purpose and use it as your leadership compass, design a vision that brings focus to your organization, master execution through focus-oriented strategies, lead others with intention, clarity, and trust. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need to commit to leading with more clarity, more intention, and more purpose day by day. Practical reflection. Your focus audit. Take a moment to reflect. How much of your week is spent on truly strategic work? How often do you say yes to things that drain your energy or dilute your focus? When was the last time you revisited your leadership purpose? What distractions consistently pull you away from what matters most? Awareness is the first step to change. You cannot lead others with clarity if you are unclear within yourself.